Howdy, yokes! Before we get started today, we just want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by you! We want to build this thing to be as big as it can be. More episodes, merchandise, events, giveaways, you name it. Seriously, name it. But we can't do it alone. If you enjoy this episode or any of our episodes, we could like you to consider heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/baconandeggs. Patreon is a service where you can pay monthly for your favorite content creators to continue making content and make that a part of their dream and help support that. Consider checking out some of the great reward tiers we've got set up over there, or making a donation of any kind. We want to keep this podcast free and available for everyone, but if you have a couple of bucks to spare, anything you give goes a long way to making sure that this can be the best it can be. We could really use your help, so thank you for donating, and thank you even more for listening and being a part of this community. Hi, and welcome to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
I've come to bargain.
I've come to bargain.
And
I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And we're back again with another great movie from our friends over at Marvel.
Counting down the movies until we get to
Black Panther.
We've already reviewed the first 13 movies in the series.
Honestly, I cannot believe I've sat in front of this mic 13 times.
It's been more than 13 times.
Yeah, it's been flying by. But you can go back to listen to any of those episodes
To help you get caught up on what's already happened.
as well as other great movies that we've done, including Back to the Future and some of our Christmas favorites.
And Star Wars.
And Star Wars. I didn't do that, though.
I did. I was there. Or you can just dive in with us right now.
Because we've got another new character to bring to your ears.
Without further ado, Tyler, what did you think of Game of Thrones this week?
I've got a confession to make, Ethan.
You still didn't watch Game of Thrones.
I didn't
gave
watch Game
you
of Thrones.
like 10 weeks to watch a single episode.
I think that Ned Stark dude's gonna die. But
They won't kill Sean Bean.
Yeah, they will. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I did. Ethan, I'll tell you what I did watch is Doctor Strange. Have you seen this one?
I have. Funny enough.
It's so good.
It was pretty good.
It's pretty good. Did you know this, though? It was released October 13th, 2016. That was 453 days ago.
We're within 500 days.
I know.
There are more days of summer.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we had met Summer when this movie came out, we would be like a month and a half out before she was gone.
Yep. But
453 movie had some
days.
Serious budget.
Oh, that is wrong. It's wrong.
Whoa.
It is $165 million, not $265 million, as I had written.
Yes. Okay, so this movie had a $165 million budget, which is a lot less than $265 million. And it did not super well, I guess.
It still made over $500 million.
Yeah.
Like, it's done pretty well for it. It made $677.7 million.
Yes, and it was well received by just about everybody. Critics gave it an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences gave it an 86%. Now, bear in mind that means that 89% of critics gave it a positive review, not critics gave it an 8.9 out of 10.
Right.
And same with audience reviews.
Correct.
So that could be 89% of critics gave it a 6 out of 10. It's just what how they score
just
things.
How they scored
it also did fairly well on Metacritic with a 725. I'm pretty sure that's a typo here, but I'm guessing a 72.
It's 72. I've really messed this one up.
72 on Metacritic.
725 out of 100.
Yeah.
The greatest movie ever on Metacritic by hundreds and hundreds of points.
Yeah, it is better than Citizen Kane 7 times over.
By 625%.
But it was good, and that's honestly a favorable score. I agree with almost all of these scores. I think I agree with all of them. This movie is, I think, exceptionally good. I think it is. But I think before I can get into that, Ethan, I've got some injustice to bring to the table.
Some injustice you need to talk about?
I've got like a huge problem.
Okay, what's your problem?
So just so we're clear, this segment is called Injustice in America.
In America, okay.
Ethan, let me tell you something. Have you watched Doctor Who?
I have seen almost all of the new Doctor Who's.
Okay, but not Peter Capaldi, right?
I've seen about half of his stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen a single episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, you've seen Doctor Who. You've watched Sherlock.
Once or twice.
You've seen like a video by Charlie Is So Cool Like on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did you go after high school?
London.
No, before that.
Oh, college.
You went to college.
Yeah.
You know why you went to college?
Because we're American.
You are an American.
And college means after high school in America.
You didn't go to university. You didn't go to uni. You went to college. And listen, if you're from across the pond or on our little Stetson that is Canada and you call it uni, I'm not talking to you. If you are an American citizen and you refer to the college experience as uni, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's not what it's called in America, okay? Like, I get it. You've seen the YouTube videos. You like British things. Britain is cool. But, like, it's not what it's called, Ethan. It's not what it's called.
Agreed. It's called college.
Oh, my gosh.
You go to college. When you graduate high school, you go to college.
You can go to college. We don't want...
No,
we're not trying to give off the impression
it's
that
the
everybody
next.
has
Generally,
to go.
the next school you go to is college of some sort.
Or you go to a university.
Right.
Not university.
Right. Correct.
Talking to you, Twitter. Talking to you. And now, listen, Twitter, you don't even have an excuse. Before, I get it. We had a character limitation, okay? I tweeted most of the lyrics to Alanis Morissette's Ironic today, okay? We got plenty of space on
Yeah,
the
you
tweet.
can get about halfway through the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
Yeah, so... we got
trust
plenty
me,
of
that was the
space.
first thing I did with my 280 characters when I was graced with 280 characters, was tweet about half the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
Yeah, so you can say university now, but you actually should just say college. You don't go to uni, okay? I'm sorry, I'm done, which is not what it is.
You're correct.
And sometimes it frustrates me so much that sometimes I'll see a real life British person do it and be like, stop it. And then I'll be like, nope, you can get away with it because that's what your culture does. But that's not what my culture does. But with this, we're going to get along here.
So, yeah. I've got some injustice of my own.
Okay, tell me about
not
it.
to just like totally disregard what you're saying, but kind of to totally disregard what you're saying.
I am just going to wallow in this one.
Just consider
you go over
consider it marked.
Consider it marked.
But yeah, so where I'm from here in the world, and some of you may know this because I posted in our secret Facebook group. You guys can go and find our pictures and stuff on there. But we just got some snow here where I live.
Yeah.
And I'm used to I get the whole stereotype for the South of like, oh my God, it snows a quarter of an inch and the whole world ends. But like literally I live in a place where it snows a quarter of an inch and the whole world ends.
Yeah.
Like,
I've lived where you live.
We've been out, like, this is schools are closed tomorrow. They've been closed since noon on Wednesday.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Schools are still closed tomorrow. Meanwhile, I've been to work for 3 days because the roads are fine.
Right.
They're completely clear. Everything's fine. But Lord Almighty, please give me strength to deal with people in grocery stores when it snows around here.
Really? That's what bothers you about snow?
Yeah.
But they're just making milk and bread sandwiches.
Yeah, they're
What's wrong with that?
making milk sandwiches. I don't get it. I don't understand. But like Katie went to the store to go buy some rations for us. God forbid something did happen, so we didn't have to go out in the snow to get Plaza Azteca.
Right.
And and she was like, well, I couldn't find any white bread because there was one loaf of bread left in the store.
I just don't get it, man. I get that like bread is cheap.
Well, it's like we just wanted to make like soup and sandwiches, like some grilled cheese and some potato soup, like comfort food because it's cold.
Potato soup. You make potato soup.
I said tomato.
Okay.
Tomato soup.
Did you learn that at uni?
Yeah, you learned that in uni. Tomato soup. We just want to make some comfort food because it was 8 degrees outside. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was a harsh time. And she was like, yeah, all I could find was like honey wheat bread, which I don't have a problem with honey wheat bread, but she does apparently. And it was the only loaf of bread left in the entire Food Lion, and like there was no pasta, there was no nothing.
I'll tell you, what bothers me, real quick, tangential from your story, very tangential. Similar. Yeah, on the top, I'm going to mix our stories together. I live also in the South, but I live in the mountains. When it snows in the South, Southerners typically just don't go out. Northerners who live in the South loudly talk about how Southerners don't know how to drive in snowy conditions.
Right.
That's all they say. And let me tell you, I probably hear more Northerners complaining about how Southerners don't know how to drive.
Right. Southerners just don't drive.
Right. Southerners don't drive. And the other thing is, like, I talk to enough people that I think I have a very good sample size for this. There are enough accidents when it snows in my city, and I know this because I work in the total loss car industry.
Right.
That Northerners, you don't know how to drive either.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the most dangerous part of driving in the snow is partially the fact that you're in a 2-ton vehicle on ice.
Right.
Period. Any situation bad.
Right.
But also that there are hundreds of other people in 2-ton vehicles on ice. Okay? And it's not that they don't know how to drive, because if you knew how to drive, you would avoid them. But you totaled your car too. Okay? So this is a problem for everybody. So there's no infrastructure to deal with the snow. It's not that nobody knows how to drive. It's that up north where you're from, they have a ton of salt and plows and everything to handle this problem, and everyone's prepared.
Right.
Here in the South, we don't
There's no reason.
we don't invest our money in
There's
that.
no reason to be prepared because it happens once a year.
Once a year, every other year sometimes.
Right. Is like we're not going to stock snowplows in every city and tons of salt and go out and pre-salt the roads and everything, which they did pre-salt the roads here, which didn't help at all. 0% help. All it did was get salt all over my car. But
salt all over my Mustang, really, also. Very frustrating.
yeah, salt all over my car. It's a red car. It's like pink right now because it's half covered in salt and it's been too cold to like wash it. Because if I went through a car wash, it would have just frozen.
Yep.
But yeah, no, so I know how to drive in the snow. My dad is a northerner. He taught me that time when we had a snowpocalypse in high school and we were out of school for 2.5 weeks. Mm-hmm. And but my dad never went anywhere in the snow. Ever. It started to snow and he just called out of work. He was like, nope.
I mean, because there's no infrastructure in our city, in the city.
It wasn't even that. It's just like
in.
he wanted to hang out with me. Like I was off school, he wanted to hang out and we would go do stuff in the snow and like sled and stuff.
Yeah, my dad absolutely 1,000% had to go to work when it snowed.
Yeah, no, for sure. See, my dad worked with the school system who were closed.
Right.
So, but
that's why
I know how to drive in the snow. I can drive in the snow. And my idea of driving in this snow was literally to like go to the back road behind my apartment and just turn my traction control off and just slide around. It was awesome.
I love it.
It's so much
Nothing
fun.
like taking your $25,000 investment, most valuable thing you own, and maybe crash it.
I wasn't going to crash it. I know well enough how to not crash it on a straight road. It's
true.
That's the other thing about driving around here in the snow is the roads don't turn ever.
I know. I didn't like that about living
So
there.
it's like yeah, you occasionally have to just like drift around one turn.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Just don't hit anything. Go slow. Use one lane.
Anyway, that's an injustice. Tell me about Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. What a movie, man. What a movie. First of all, quick note, we finally reached the end of the Flippy book and the beginning of Marvel Studios Presents.
I know.
Which it doesn't actually say that, but that'd be way cooler.
Like if it said it out loud?
It's like a voiceover.
No.
It'd be terrible, but like in my mind, that's how it should be. That'd be way more
If it came
superhero-y.
out, if it was like, that's some bad hat, Harry. And then it did the whole thing, that'd be one thing.
That's
like,
some bad hat, Harry.
There's a little Jaws reference, a little House reference, all in one.
So yeah, Doctor Strange starring Broccoli Soup Cuttlefish, one of my favorite English actors.
He was in Sherlock, right?
Yeah, he was Sherlock in Sherlock, along with Bilbo Baggins, and he's a good actor in a lot of things, man. A lot of things that he's good at. But one thing he's not good at. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm referring to?
You know what he doesn't have?
It's this fucking American accent that he does.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrendous.
Oh, he definitely didn't learn that at uni.
No, God. He didn't learn it at acting school either.
Oh, God, no. Did he go to acting school?
I would imagine.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with Burlington Coat Factory's educational history.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything, but I don't know. I feel like he went to acting school, but I'm thinking maybe it's not the case because this accent's horrendous.
It is really bad.
I can't get over it. Like billiard ball, cricket bat. What are you doing?
And I'll tell you, you watch the movie and you almost get comfortable in his like slipping back and forth, and then towards the end of the movie, I was like, wait a minute, he's an American. Like he said something that was like distinctly American.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what it was, but it drew me back into it, and I was like, you haven't been talking like that this whole time.
Right. Yeah. Dr. Palmer. But what? Yeah. So let's knock out this origin scene first, where we talk about Master Caecilius, who's stealing the rights of enchantment or something, stealing some pages out of a book, and there's like a voiceover from the Sorcerer Supreme who's like, hey, you don't want to do that, buddy.
You know, this movie, here's my thoughts on the whole Doctor Strange principle. And like now we're introducing sorcerers. And I guess we've already got a god in the mix.
Yeah.
But there's like a whole mythos behind that before Marvel, right? And Marvel doesn't perfectly adapt the mythos of the Norse mythology, but it roughly follows.
Right. That's good enough.
Scarlet Witch also has this problem, kind of.
She's a mutant.
Yes, and there's like no previous mythos.
There is, though.
What I don't like
She's
about
a mutant. They're just not allowed to use the mythos.
Right, but there's not like a Norse mythology historical mythos behind that.
So? There's not a Norse mythology behind superheroes.
Okay, here's what I don't like about Doctor Strange. Is that he can just be whatever he wants and you can write any ability in.
Right.
That's what I don't like.
Right, he's a cheat code.
Is that like, he can, not only can he sort of teleport, but he can also alter time. And like now we've got a character who can get out of any situation.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Like he literally stopped a dimension from eating Earth.
Yeah. No, 100%. He can do whatever he wants. Like literally anything.
Yeah. And what I also don't like is what I'm going to call the Avatar principle, and not Avatar the Blue People movie, but Avatar the Last Airbender, where Avatar the Last Airbender does this probably better than what they do in Doctor Strange, but like the hand motions are like inconsistent, and they're good with some things, like with the Eye of Agamotto where he opens it and everything, and that all looks the same, but like a lot of the stuff, they're just shaking their hands and then things happen, and like the way they summon their weapons is pretty consistent, where he like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like when they're fighting, they're just moving around and then a lot of stuff happens.
Yeah.
You know?
The one thing is consistent is the sling ring thing, where he just like does the little like I'm acting like they can see me doing this, but I'm holding up one of my hands and then circling with the other hand.
Yes.
But that is the thing. But yeah, no, they don't go into super big detail on like what the hand motions mean and everything,
because they want to be able to write themselves out of a corner.
Right. And what I think really like nails into this, have you ever seen, and I'm not to get off Marvel for a second, but like, have you ever seen the sci-fi TV show The Magicians?
I've not.
So it's pretty crap, honestly. The book is really good, but like the hand motions are incredibly important, and they use it very well in that it's like hilarious. Like they can't get it, like some kids just can't get it right, and they cast the wrong spell by like making the wrong hand motion. There's like a consequence to it,
right? Which
I think would have been interesting to do with this, but again, that's also a 20 episode TV show as opposed to like a less than 2 hour movie,
right? But I know I'm coming down on it pretty hard with these early criticisms. Overall, I just want to be clear. I actually really enjoyed this movie.
It is a very visually appealing movie.
I was going to say that as well. It is
in that
absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's just a straight up, like in a lot of places, it's a straight up Inception knockoff.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And that they were like, hey, guy whoever directed this that isn't Christopher Nolan, watch this movie a lot.
Yeah, have you seen Inception?
Yeah.
Because what we want to do with this movie is take buildings and just rebuild them on top of themselves over and over and over.
You remember the chateau from The Matrix? Combine that with Inception and we're good. But
it was cool. It was very, very pretty.
It was cool. We got a lot of great actors in it, too. What's his name? Chiwetel. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not not even gonna try to pronounce it, but he's like an Oscar winner in his own right, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and we've got like Wimbledon tennis match and Benedict Wong and who was the lady that plays the Grandmaster?
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton, she's a genius.
And let us not forget Master Caecilius himself, Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh yeah, he's great.
He's great. Mads Mikkelsen, though, Master Caecilius does not strike me, just from the name alone, does not strike me as the kind of guy that's gonna be worried about summoning a new dimension. He sounds like he's the next in line to question the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
Like, I can just see Mace Windu being like, Master Caecilius, I see that
you're on this council.
I see that you brought this council to a bad place.
We do not grant you the rank of master.
Like, that's all I could think of the whole time. Every time they said Master Caecilius, like, he sounds like a Sith.
He doesn't sound like a Sith. He sounds like a Jedi.
Yeah, he sounds like a Jedi that's about to fall and become Darth Caecilius.
Darth Caecilius. He is Darth Caecilius in this movie. Dude has got some crazy, crazy pants makeup.
Yeah. But I think, God, haunt my dreams. Terrified.
Yeah. But I actually, the makeup took me out of it a little bit. I wasn't convinced by it.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary.
Right. Like, I think they could have given him, like, yellow eyes, and that would have been enough.
Right. But this scene speaks...
Or purple eyes or whatever.
Yeah, true. You couldn't do yellow eyes, because that's Heimdall.
Right.
That's already a thing. But this scene does do a lot for the movie in that it introduces the mirror dimension.
All right, you know how when we talked about Back to the Future Part 2, and I was like, let me be clear, I get it, okay?
You don't get it.
I don't get it this time.
So the mirror dimension, from what I understand, is like, it looks the same as Earth, normal Earth, but it doesn't have the rules. So that's when they're like folding matter into itself.
Right, but how do they get there?
With the sling ring.
They don't sling ring into it. All of a sudden,
everybody else does except the Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay.
She can just make it appear.
Now, it does have a really cool film quality in
Yeah.
that each scene, did you notice this? Each scene within the mirror dimension, like each little section of set they're on, they can interact with, and the like sort of jilted walls or whatever will be there, and then they'll walk into like another section of set, and now there's new tilted walls and everything.
Right.
Like just like not when they've already started messing stuff up, but like just when they're like showing him what it is.
Yeah.
I thought this was a really, really cool thing.
It looked really cool.
It kind of takes you back to like a panel, or not like a panel, but like a side-scrolling like video game almost, and that like you can walk into a section and interact with everything in that section, but the background and the foreground will be the same.
Right.
And then you'll like side-scroll into another section, and you can't interact with the background background, foreground. Does this make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, that was just a cool piece of cinematography for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then even when they do start messing around with stuff and everything's like folding in on itself, it's a very cool mechanic of how it does it, and it's all like mechanical.
Yeah, it's very like steampunk.
I know you haven't seen it, but it reminds me a lot of the intro to Game of Thrones.
I've seen the intro to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. That's all I can think of. But anyway, so what my issue that I have with the scene though is like, the Sorcerer Supreme would have gotten a lot more weird looks walking around with no hair, dressed like she's in the village.
I said the exact same thing. I was like
she looks like she's hiding the secret of a monster that's actually just people in a costume, so that nobody realizes they're actually in the 1990s.
Right, like she definitely looked like she was at Comic-Con.
Yeah. She was a
like
little
her costume. Well, her costume ran into the issue of like the costumes that they wear all make sense when they're together, but they exist in a world where they wouldn't make sense anywhere else.
Right.
You know, like...
And I'd forgotten about the thing where the Sorcerer Supreme wears yellow, because then in the next time he appears, Stephen Strange has the yellow gloves, and I was like, why do you have yellow gloves? You look like an idiot.
He does look like an idiot. Did you know, and I just want to point this out real quick, there is no sequel on the books ready to go for Doctor Strange.
That's strange. So we get introduced to the character of Stephen Strange, and he's like clearly Mr. Rockstar Surgeon. He's got the whole thing. He's like listening to the music, and he's like House. He's a lot like House.
I was gonna say the same thing. I felt like they were like, hey, for the Stephen Strange thing, watch House and just do what Hugh Laurie did. And honestly, I think Hugh Laurie would have made a fine.
Oh yeah, he would have been a great Doctor
Stephen
Strange. I'd had no problem with that. But he's like, it's hard for me to separate him from the part of Sherlock sometimes, especially when he's just like dressed like a normal, well-dressed person. But
no, I didn't have that problem.
But he's not Sherlock. He is similar in that he's still like super uber confident, but he's like trying to be funny and like he's self-aware, which everything that Sherlock is not.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had that problem. I think they knew that coming into this. It was like, well, Sherlock is the kind of guy who pops his collar and is extremely smart, and Stephen Strange is the kind of guy who pops his collar and is extremely smart.
Right.
And they're both played by a man who looks like an otter.
For sure. But he is Mr. like super rockstar surgeon, and he likes Chuck Mangione.
Oh my gosh, you want to talk about like a good way to get me to wake up? Put on some Chuck Mangione. I know that like most people are like, who? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, hey, I mean, apparently he had a top 10 charting hit with a flugelhorn.
He did. I played flugelhorn in high school. Thank you very much.
But he's still at the same time he's like a jerk, because like he won't like talk to the patient's family after he saved the guy's life with that miraculous pulling the bullet out of the head thing.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about surgeries. He cares about, like...
cases. Wins.
Right. Well, not even that. He wants to, like... Yeah, he does have the perfect record and cares about that
He wants to be known for being the rock star surgeon.
Right.
He's like, they don't call it the Strange technique.
Right. That would be an awful name.
Yeah.
I thought I think they were going to play around with the fact that his name is Strange a lot, and then they ended up playing with it a little bit. It did make me laugh when they did it. Yeah, every time it made me laugh.
Like when later on when he's talking to Caecilius, and he's like, no, it's Doctor. He's like, Mr. Doctor, and he goes, no, my name is Strange. It's not that strange, but I guess. Who am I to judge? That made me laugh out loud. That was one of those moments where I paused the movie, laughed, resumed the movie. But yeah, like he doesn't care about saving lives. He doesn't want to go work in the ER because he's like, I'm not going to go to your butcher shop, which is another weird thing he says. Because at this point in my notes, I started making notes of things he said funny, and butcher shop was one of them.
Butcher shop.
I don't know exactly how he said it, but I remember it being weird.
Yeah, well, they don't teach you these things in medical school, I guess.
I guess not.
Don't know. But I don't know. I feel like you're going to be hung up on Barbie Ken Cabbage Patch's accent a lot here. And,
no, I mean, I'm not. It's just like, it's bad. I'm going to keep pointing it out when it's bad.
It's also, like, do you think it takes away from the movie?
No, not particularly at all. But it's like, I'm aware enough about the series that I can notice that this is bad and still enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Like, it's not a huge deal. Beanbag Cumberfinch made a really good Doctor Strange, but he couldn't talk right. So it's fine.
You know, like, I will say this, and we're getting derailed again here, but it's about the movie, so I'm gonna keep on it. He, like, by the end of the movie and in Thor Ragnarok, which I think there is only 2 depictions right now, he looks like Doctor Strange.
What does that mean? Like,
I've seen the comic book drawings and everything, and one of my original complaints about it was Doctor Strange, I felt like had like broader shoulders and looked more like I don't know. I don't even know how to describe what I thought. But by the end of it, his costume and his beard and everything convinces me enough that, like, this guy
he's got the, like, almost Tony Stark beard.
Yeah, I noticed that. He's a very Tony Stark-like character.
Yeah. Except he actually has
like,
powers instead of being a can.
Right, a man in a can.
Yeah, he has lots of powers, lots and lots of powers. And how did we get to those powers? Let's dive into that real quick. We get like a PSA for texting and driving here, in that he is driving in his Lamborghini recklessly through the middle of freaking nowhere in New York, apparently on the way to a speaking engagement. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to like one of those, those dinner party movies where it's kind of like Clue.
Yeah.
I guess Clue would be the one that started it.
Yeah.
Where you go to some castle on a cliff next to the river.
Right. It absolutely looks like where he's going. He's just like driving up the Hudson to the middle of nowhere, and he's getting a call from somebody who's giving him cases to work on, and he denies
Avengers.
he denies working on Colonel Rhodes, because they talk about an Air Force colonel, this spine crushed and experimental armor, and which is a little bit of nod to Rhodey, and he just kind of goes like, nah, 100 people could do that as well as I could. But
that also lets us know Rhodey's gonna be fine.
Right. He finally takes a case, or looks at one, and he gets pictures sent to his phone. He looks down and immediately crashes his Lamborghini and pretty much almost dies.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot not going for him here. Like, don't text and drive. But if you're gonna text and drive,
don't do it
while you are speeding
100 miles an hour in a Lamborghini, like passing someone on a one-lane road
in the rain, in the dark.
Yeah, in the dark. Nothing going well. And this is where we see the worst side of his personality, because like he flips out and like blames the surgeon for saving his life.
He's like, I could have made my hands work.
Oh man, and
it's your fault.
He looks down, he's got all his pens and stuff sticking out of his hands, and like my hands started to hurt.
Yeah, did you start to shake?
Like, no, I didn't start to shake, but like watching it, I was like, ow.
If you shake your hand, like if you act like you're shaking your hand, does your pointer finger kind of stay still? Like, does it all kind of rotate on your pointer finger?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. I was just curious if I was the only one that did that, or if I had a weird hand.
I guess I could. I can rotate it on either the pointer or the middle finger based on how I decide to rotate my hand.
No, I can't do that.
But my hands actually do shake a considerable amount.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason. It depends on the time of day, but they're not doing it right now because I'm talking about them and they're listening. But they do actually do that sometimes.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I got it checked out. They're like, it's not a problem. It just happens to some people. Because
I did not know that about you.
Because I was just like, do I have Parkinson's? And they're like, no. You would notice.
Is it your nicotine addiction?
It's not my nicotine addiction.
One of my coworkers shakes because.
So it'll do it worse, like if I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that'll start to like exasperate it or whatever. It's usually around like 3 or 4 p.m. though, for some reason.
Weird.
I noticed it in college.
I actually kind of sort of remember this. I won't lie.
Yeah, people will comment every now and then. They'll be like, "You okay? Your hands are shaking." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. It just happens."
I'll shake when I have had a little bit too much fun the night prior. I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's a whole different.
I'll shake at Waffle House.
It's a whole different thing where my body's not functioning on 100% capacity.
My body's like, stop, dude.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. But the only person during this whole procedure where Steven's going nuts and getting as many surgeries as he possibly can is this physical therapist who introduces him to the idea of Jonathan Pangborn.
Physical therapist? What a freaking lucky happenstance.
He's the only person willing to like give Stephen Strange the business back.
Oh yeah, he's like,
he's like,
you're arrogant.
If it makes your arrogant ass wrong, then it's worth it. I was like, yeah, you go. Guy that's only in this movie for one scene.
I know, and he's the one that's like, let me tell you about Johnny Pangborn.
Pangborn.
Jonathan Pangborn.
But I mean, he spends his whole massive fortune trying to right himself, to fix himself.
Yeah, but even the physical therapist shouldn't have been like, it was me that fixed Jonathan Pangborn. He should have been like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna work. But let me tell you, it did have a patient that this didn't work on, but something worked on. I thought he was dead.
He didn't say it was him that fixed it.
Yeah, but he said that somebody had recovered. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love what he calls him. Oh my gosh, this scene is hilarious. He goes, tell me bachelor's degree.
Yeah. God,
I was like,
dude,
whoa.
you're such a
oh my god.
He's a to everyone. He's a to Rachel McAdams, to the other, to other surgeons,
dude,
everyone.
What do you think of his watch collection case where he like opens the drawer and they're all spinning?
Yeah, why are they spinning?
I'm glad that you have the same question. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, sweet.
I mean, awesome. It was sweet. I was like, those are a lot of cool.
Not.
I like watches. Watches are cool.
Are there any trains in this movie, Ethan?
No, sadly, there are no trains.
On a scale of 1 to train, what did you think of the trains in this movie?
0.0. Would not watch again. No trains whatsoever. But
more trains.
Yeah,
please.
No. Watches are cool, but why did they spin? I don't know. I didn't understand. Yeah, I
didn't get that.
No clue.
That brand of watch he wears, is that a really nice brand? You're a watch expert, more so than I am.
I couldn't read it. Before I didn't get a glimpse of it before it got broken. And then after it got broken, I really couldn't read it, and I just stopped caring. But I'm sure it is. I mean, it's probably not a real watch. But yeah, it's probably an expensive watch.
I mean, he had a Lambo. Plus, what do you think? I mean, what do you think of the Lambo as the vehicle choice?
It fits him perfectly. A Lamborghini is an arrogant man's car.
I agree.
Because you sat there and said, I want to spend $300,000 on an Italian race car, but Ferrari's not good enough for me.
I don't know.
I liked it.
I think he could have. I think Marvel could have gone a different direction. They did so great. There was an NSX.
So what would you have suggested?
There was an R8.
So what would you have suggested?
I don't know.
You got to pick something. You're going to say this. You got to pick something.
I was about to be like an Aventador. Isn't that what he has?
Yes. Fun fact: a Lamborghini Aventador. Point proven.
I would have given him. I would have given him the 458.
Sure,
the 458 is what I would have gone for.
Why?
I would have gone
what I'm
for
saying
something.
is the Ferrari's not good enough for him.
But he is the smartest man there is. I would have gone for like the smartest sports car there is.
So like the McLaren.
Yeah, like an M1 would have been cool.
Yeah.
I honestly am surprised he didn't drive a hybrid, one of the hypercars.
Why?
But I don't even know if Marvel could have.
But like first of all, the hypercars are worthless. The hypercars.
Disagree. They're awesome.
No, they're worthless.
What do you mean they're worthless?
They don't do any better on fuel economy.
It's not about fuel economy.
But it is. Go watch the episode of the Grand Tour about this.
Listen. He would have said, Elon Musk, give me a Tesla.
I don't know. He likes fancy watches. He likes like luxury, not like smart luxury. Like look at his apartment.
That's true. He does like to. Even what's her butt says you like to spend money as fast as you can make it, but now you're spending money you don't have.
Right. Yeah. And he's broke. And I like that I think Rachel McAdams was an interesting choice for this part because she's a pretty insignificant part that could have been played by pretty much any female in America. But like she seems like a pretty high dollar actor to do this part.
Yeah, which is like they ran into this problem with Natalie Portman where they were like, you should be in Thor. And Natalie Portman was like, okay. And then they're like, you should be in Thor too. And she was like, do I have to?
Yeah.
I didn't want to do Avengers.
Yeah.
Do I have to do this one?
And
then they were like, you should be in Thor 3. And she was like, no, she's not going to do that.
And you could tell that they tried to make her like look bad and like a normal person that's like haggard and worn in a hospital, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, they also made her like a nurse and she's like in nurse garb but is a doctor.
Well, because she's ER. Like I'm sure there's like blood on her lab coat.
I mean, so
I mean,
wash it off.
It's not that easy to get blood out of white stuff.
How would you know, Ethan? How would
you know?
Because
I bled before on a white shirt.
Oh. You know, it's crazy. I suffer from nosebleeds. Yeah, I think you did know that. I also work for a stormtrooper corporation where I wear a white shirt to work every single day.
Yeah.
I've had a considerable number of nosebleeds while at work, and never once have I bled on my shirt, which is bad news that I said that, because now tomorrow...
Yeah, I was going to say, you're definitely going to ruin his shirt in the next 3 days.
Yeah, so I don't know why I told you that, but it'll happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. But then you see that moment of weakness from him where, like, he steps on the paper, and you can see that he literally can't even write his own name.
Yeah.
So he's like definitely not happy not being able to use his hands, which I get it. Like you want to be the rock star surgeon, whatever, but like you could be a teacher, the chief of surgery. You could run the freaking hospital.
Well, what gets to me is that he had that conversation with her where he was like, we developed that method for doing that thing, and it's not about saving one life at a time. Like surgery's a waste of time. It's all about developing the procedure to save thousands of lives or whatever he says.
Right, like you could definitely develop that procedure the same way you probably did with shaky hands.
Right, like you could have gotten like a voice to text system and just like, I don't know. He relies, I mean, obviously this is a major theme in the movie, but he relies way too much on his hands.
Right, and I mean, that is definitely the theme in the movie, and then, or one of the themes in the movie. But anyway, yeah, he's, he can't use them at all. Like he's struggling through the rehab, and he can't even like bend his hands and stuff. Oh, it just made my hands hurt.
Yeah. How hard do you think it is to do that little bend your hands thing with the little cables? Because it didn't look like something I could do.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's particularly easy, especially with extensive nerve damage.
Yeah, but I mean, are they like hair ties and it's like not that hard, or are they like taut string?
I mean, I imagine there's like
I couldn't tell.
If there's anything I've learned about like therapy, elastic therapy things, is that they go up in increments.
Yeah, they get harder all the time.
Like they're as tough as you need them to be.
Yeah, they're the next challenge.
Right, because they have to reward you eventually.
Right, but I guess what I was curious about was like, is this the first one he's done?
You're reading too much into that.
Maybe I am.
I think it's just supposed to look like it hurt and is difficult.
What would it be like to be an actor? Like you and I do a podcast, right?
Yeah.
What would it be like to have an entire movie and like a lot of stuff is about your face?
Terrifying.
Isn't that horrifying?
Yeah, it's horrifying. I don't know how actors do it. Like screen actors.
Oh gosh,
no clue.
That sounds hard.
You have to be. I feel like you have to be a certain degree of arrogant.
What that you like?
I
you
just
have to be,
am not.
Maybe not arrogant, but like comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
That I'm not, and
Yeah.
confident that like because you can't see what your face is doing when your face is doing what your face is doing.
Right. I don't know, man. That would be.
And even
horrifying.
even when you look in the mirror, you can only see one eye at a time, right?
Right.
So it's like,
what do I even look like?
right, because in a picture, that's a picture. You know, that's what I looked like on that.
I
day.
definitely don't look
Why-
the same in pictures as I do in the mirror. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, do you work hard for the pictures?
Not necessarily, but like there's a lot of pictures of me out there from very bad angles.
You've got one great angle. I mean, you've got many great angles, but even your Skype photo is the angle. Did you know this?
No, what are you talking about?
It's the pose.
What pose? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you did the Snapchat pose.
Oh, the like down angle?
Yeah, where you got like one eyebrow kind of raised, sort of inquisitive. It's like the smolder from Tangled.
I may or may not have gotten compliments on the face throughout the year, and I may have like latched onto that.
Yeah, is that
entirely possible? We'll see. No, I mean there's some good pictures of me out there. Some surprisingly good pictures of me out there.
Where? I've never seen.
Oh
them.
wow, thanks, man.
Wow.
Wow.
I am pretty confident with myself. Like I don't think I'm a terrible looking human being.
Yeah.
I think I photograph horribly. I really believe that. I don't think there's like a good photo.
There are plenty of good photos of you out there, but they're like your photographs don't do you justice a lot of the times.
You think I don't photograph well?
No, it's just like I think that you're a better looking person generally in person than you are in photographs, whereas like I don't do my photographs justice.
I have weird looking hands. You ever seen my hands in a picture?
Yeah.
They're way too big for me.
Same. I have really wide palms. If this
Anyway,
we're getting off topic here. I have really wide palms though, and like my hands are like when I squish all my fingers together, my hands are like triangular. A little bit.
I have
a little bit.
I have a rectangular prism here.
There you go.
Like huge.
You do have giant hands.
I can palm a basketball. Can you palm a basketball?
Nope.
I can't.
Nope. Anyway, so Stephen Strange goes to see this Pangborn guy, who is Benjamin Bratt, I think is his name.
I don't know.
You're wrong about that.
That was one of those guys where like, oh yeah, he's been in those
He's
things.
the guy from Miss Congeniality. I know that much.
Oh, the guy from Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, the like
That's good
male
to know.
love interest for Sandra Bullock.
Let me tell you, I haven't seen. Let me tell you something. I haven't seen Miss Congeniality and like watched it since when did it come out? The 90s?
No, the mid 2000s, I think.
Since the mid 2000s.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
She does that thing with the water
Yeah,
cups.
the water cups. Anyway, so he goes to see Jonathan Pangborn, who tells him about Camartage and about, everything like that, and that he turned down the, being the sorcerer guy and decided to just go back to his own life and take the healing. And Steven's like, okay, well, I'm going to go find that then. Thank you.
Stephen Strange goes there, and there's like a whole thing, and we'll talk about that in a second. I think he gets too deep. Jonathan Pangborn must know a lot, because even at the end, Stephen Strange, who apparently has the same level of nerve damage, has shaky hands, right?
Yeah.
So Jonathan Pangborn must have learned a lot to fix his shaky, unmovable legs.
No, what? That's the whole point of the movie.
I'm so confused.
Is that Jonathan Pangborn used his gift for the specific purpose of channeling it through his legs so he walks with magic. Stephen Strange never did that. He just did magic.
Oh.
That was the whole scene where he's standing there with the Sorcerer Supreme right before she dies. That's what she tells him. How did you miss this?
I guess...
Like, he stands there at the end and his hands still shake, indicating he's decided to go forward being the Sorcerer Supreme, be the sorcerer guy. How did you miss this?
Honestly, I don't know. You seem very upset.
I'm just surprised. Like...
I usually pick up on these things
I know you
pretty
do.
well.
It's the entire theme of the movie.
Here's my question about the theme of this movie. I'm going to stop embarrassing myself for a moment. Did you notice this movie has a trope? It's the same problem I have with Iron Man. TBH.
Okay.
Same problem I have with Rey in Star Wars and kind of Luke Skywalker.
All right, make it happen.
He goes from not a master, in fact, kind of failing the class, to Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, because he's still the best. Like, he's still got the photographic memory. He still, has the skills necessary to learn.
Yeah, but this is, the same thing I have with, you and I were talking about this today. I guess he's the same kind of person as, Walter White, where it's if I have all the knowledge of how to make crystal meth, I will be the greatest crystal meth maker ever. You know, there's no finesse to it. It's all just numbers and practice. And I have a hard time believing that sorcery is the same way. And like I have the knowledge to do many things, but then I try to do them and I do them poorly. And I feel like this guy...
Well, they at least,
just
in
got
this movie, they don't write it off. Like, they very much address the fact that he's learning quickly.
Yeah, well, he definitely
Instead
is
of, like, in
learning
Star Wars, where they're just like,
fast.
what? You have so much power.
Right.
Whereas this time, they're like...
I-
The librarian's like, you read all of these already?
Yeah, but here's the thing: is like he has the fight with Caecilius where he doesn't even know what he's doing. He's still like struggling to make the little whip weapon, and he's like, you know, getting his butt whooped, only winning on chance. Although I tell you, the other sorcerer who was defending that sanctum, man, he just went down. He was like, he did not put up nearly as good a fight as he could have. Because it didn't look like Stephen Strange knew what he was doing, even though he was putting up a decent fight. That guy just like gets stabbed and just like, oh, I'm dead. Oh,
Right.
no. Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, for sure. But I think it was just like, it was another case of him realizing that he could do it.
I think you might be
Because like
right.
he already knew what he was doing, obviously, because he was like researching the scary dark magic. But when he got face to face with the actual fight, he was like terrified.
The power of believing in yourself.
Right. Which is how he got the gift in the first place, because they just stranded him on Mount Everest.
Yo, dude, that was brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
You know what I love about that scene is that it goes back to the Sorcerer Supreme, and it's one of those teaching moments where, you know, when you're learning something new and somebody's testing you, and it seems like they've got all the answers and they know what they're doing and they've tried it 100 times. You know, you kind of know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like when we did Fraternity Rush, where it was like the guy teaching this fraternity mysticism class knows everything and has done this a million times, but really at most he's done it once before,
Right.
or twice before, you know, where she's standing there and she's like, I stranded them on Everest, and she did it all confidently, and he's like, what? And then she's standing there like, that might not have worked.
Yeah, they're sitting there like, it's been a minute now.
Right, like he might
die.
not
Yeah,
make it
this is
back.
not gonna be good.
Yeah. So I thought that was good. I really liked that, showing that other perspective of like teacher
Right, and
student.
she just believed in him and knew he could figure it out. Or not.
Right, but
either way, it was going to be fine.
Right, she believed that he could probably figure it out, but
Right.
there was a chance that he wouldn't, and she wasn't going to let him die.
Right. Okay, so let's dive back in the plot here for a second, because we got some important stuff coming up. Basically, he flies to Kathmandu and just starts walking around the city. You just going Kamartaj to everybody he meets.
You know, I want to talk about this. Maybe you have thoughts on this.
Okay.
To me, and you might disagree with me, I don't know. To me, the depiction of Tibet and Kathmandu and Kamartaj and Tokyo in this movie
Tokyo. They
are
never go to
why,
Tokyo.
Where do they
Hong
go?
Kong.
Hong Kong. And Hong Kong in this movie are why Black Panther needs to be directed by a black person. Because I think the white people that made this movie, like, it was close to what I think it's actually like, but I don't feel like I got a grasp for what Hindi culture and everything out there, and Buddhist culture and everything that I honestly am not qualified to speak on, is actually like. Does this make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, it's such an irrelevant part of the movie.
It is.
They could have put
But
Kamartaj anywhere.
No, they can't. I don't think. I think Kamartaj has like a spot.
Okay, whatever. But it, like, for the purpose of the movie, it could have been anywhere.
Right.
Like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's like, and it's honestly probably a little bit racist for them to be like, oh, it's mystical healing, and like it can't take place in Indianapolis.
Right.
Like,
that would have been
because like Western medicine failed him, so he had to go to the East.
Right. And I mean, honestly, like I think it was okay enough in this movie because that wasn't like a major plot point. Like, you know, the major plot point, the religion, so to speak, that they actually focus on is made up. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to depict a major culture and that be the center point of your movie, I think that you should have somebody from that culture kind of...
Right. Okay, so it was just... I get what you're saying right now. But it actually was shot in Kathmandu.
Oh, was it really?
Just like, I hear what you're
know,
saying.
maybe...
I wanted to see if that was correct or not. So, but that is what Kathmandu looks like, turns out.
I don't know.
And it's
maybe
it's
I actually
Nepal.
I didn't have this complaint as much with Kathmandu, but Hong Kong felt, and maybe it was filmed in Hong Kong, I don't know, but it just felt like what they were showing was a little whitewashed. It was a little like, these are the America glasses of what you want to see in Kathmandu, in Hong Kong.
I mean, they showed us like one street corner in Hong Kong.
I know. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to...
It didn't bother. Maybe this is my white privilege, but it didn't bother me.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it bothered me. I think I just noticed it.
Well, it did. Maybe then just my white privilege, me not noticing it. But I definitely think Black Panther should be made by a black person and given the proper treatment. And possibly even an actual African.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it is, but
I don't know.
It's not Tyler Perry, and that's all I care.
Mostly because he's a bad director, not because he's black.
No, yeah. It would. You're not necessarily a bad director. It just, if it was Medea goes to Marvel, it wouldn't have been made me happy.
Medea goes to Wakanda.
Yeah, like that would not have made me happy at all. Yeah, so he's in Kathmandu, and he's just walking around, literally at one point, just going Kamartaj, 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 and then he gets mugged.
Well, yeah. So what we're seeing here is like he has lost everything.
He's lost everything.
Almost not his will to live, because that's kind of what's keeping him going.
Right.
But like that's all.
Right, and he gets mugged for the watch, and he's like, "No, don't do that. That's all I have left." And then Ezio swoops in from Assassin's Creed and saves him.
Yeah, Baron Mordo himself.
Yep. You keep saying Baron.
That was Baron Mordo is his villain
Right,
name.
but he's not a villain.
Well,
he's not a villain in this movie. His name is Master Mordo. Like, I get that you have this knowledge from the comic books you've never read in your life, but like it's not part of the movie.
I know, but like, bear with me.
I mean, I'm bearing with you, but you haven't read Doctor Strange comics. I sincerely doubt that you have.
No, I haven't. But I think I have I'll tell you what I did. Going into this, I'd never read Doctor Strange comics, and I knew that Doctor Strange... I'm about to tangent here, so you better be ready.
Okay.
I knew that Doctor Strange was a big deal to a lot of comic book fans, in that he was sort of like, from my perspective, like the kind of character that hipster comic book fans really bought into.
Yeah.
Right. And did you have the same perspective?
Pretty sure James
or was
Swindell loves him.
That might be the case. Jimmy, you want to come on the show? If you do, shoot us an email at baconandeggsmedia@gmail.com with the subject line, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. But anyway, so that was my impression, was that like regular comic book fans and people like you and me would buy Captain America comics and Iron Man comics and stuff like that. But then like sort of the hardcore fans would get into things like, Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange. So I was like, I would like a little bit of background on Doctor Strange. So I went on the YouTubes, I watched a couple of videos on the history of Doctor Strange's characters, when he was first introduced, who his main villains were, what his storyline kind of looked like, and turns out the movie perfectly depicts how he becomes Doctor Strange, in that like he is in a car crash that leaves his hands like nerve damaged, and then he goes to Kamartaj to like learn how to fix that, and he learns from the Ancient One, and like it's all literally like frame by frame. You can like match up frames from his original comic to the movie, which is really, really, I love when that happens. And that's what makes the original Spider-Man so great, which to this day is the highest grossing Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man film, the first one. So I loved that, but then I listened to the story of him, and it's all about him fighting Dormammu and Baron Mordo, and I knew the name Baron Mordo because he was a villain in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I didn't put together that Mordo was his buddy in this movie until I watched it this time, because I was looking for it. So I was starting to put all those pieces together, and what I found is that I'm actually, like, I don't think, as far as storytelling goes, Doctor Strange has a particularly great story and history and mythos about him.
Gotcha.
And I was actually kind of disappointed to learn that for myself. And I think it was one of those things where sort of hardcore comic book fans wanted to be like, oh, it's cool you read Black Panther, but do you read Doctor Strange? Because I read Doctor Strange. It's kind of like I knew about it before you did, and then enough people knew about it before other people did that it became like sort of a popular thing. But if you just listen to like what the actual story arc was, it wasn't that interesting. And that's my perspective. I won't say I've read all the comics or I've done all of that, because I haven't, and maybe the stories really are great. But it just sounded like people bought into it because it was what the other people who were into comics were buying into.
Gotcha.
As opposed to people buying into it because it is an exceptionally good story.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, what it sounds like is you're coming in here being like, oh, no, his name's Baron Mordo. Just trust me on this one.
I mean, it is. Just trust me on this.
I'm not trusting you on this one, though, because it does nothing to do with the movie.
You're right. I mean, it has to do with it at the end.
It is not called Baron Mordo at any point during this movie. Also, the highest grossing Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man 3, and then Spider-Man Homecoming.
Really?
If you're going worldwide, which is what we
at.
base here on Bacon and Eggs.
Oh, I think I was looking at
domestic is Spider-Man 1, the first one.
Okay, that's probably what I was looking at then.
Just so you know.
Well, I don't know if we will ever get to the other 5 Spider-Man movies, but we will definitely do Spider-Man Homecoming on this show.
Like in 2 weeks.
Yep.
What
is today's date that this is released?
This is going out on January 25th.
Oh my God!
It's the 9th.
We are so far ahead.
January 9th when we're recording this. What was I saying? Anyway, so he gets mugged for the watch, is what I was getting at. And Baron Mordo saves him, and then he's like, oh, you're looking for Kamartaj, and he's like, where have you been all freaking week,
bruh? But they had to let him suffer. He was there. He was watching.
Right? Yeah, he was watching the whole time. You see that. And then he gets into Kamartaj, and they're just like, forget everything you think you know. And the Sorcerer Supreme is just like, oh, Mr. Strange. And he goes, Doctor Strange. And she goes, well, not anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with her there. Just because he's not able to do surgery, he says he got his MD and PhD at the same time. He's still a PhD.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter to her or him.
I know, but he is a doctor.
He is a doctor
of
of philosophy, but it
like-
doesn't matter to him because his job is no longer doctor. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
And not even the way he should care about it. But she tells him basically, like, your body can rearrange itself in all sorts of ways, and he thinks she's talking about cell regeneration, and she's like, nope, talk about magic.
Well, I think there is a scientific element. You get the idea from her that, like, I got the idea from her that she was familiar with all religions of the soul, including man's
Oh, yeah,
science
for sure.
of the soul.
For sure, but I don't think it has anything to do with her magic, especially not hers.
Correct. Right, but she was familiar with it all because it was like she was saying, like, you're trying to peer through a keyhole, and then I mean she missed an opportunity here. She's like, you're trying to peer through a keyhole, I'm giving you the key to open the door, is what she should have said. And instead she's like, you're trying to peer through a keyhole, I'm telling you how to make it wider so you can see more.
She says you've spent your whole life trying to widen your keyhole.
And then she says, and here I am allowing you to do that.
I don't know.
Like, she doesn't say, I'm giving you the... I remember watching the scene and being like, what?
So she, like, just pushes him out of his body at that point. Because he's
and then we get, like,
he's doing a really poor job at forgetting everything he thinks he knows.
Correct.
And,
because
she pushes him...
I mean, what did Rey do when Kylo Ren said to do that?
She's not in this movie.
Pretty sure...
Yeah, but we don't need to give away Star Wars spoilers in this movie as well. Like...
That's true.
That movie came out way more recently.
It's true.
Yeah, she separated him and tells him about, like, that he's entered the astral dimension. And I'm just sitting here going, now you've entered the sunken place.
Auf Wiedersehen!
What?
I don't know. I thought you were... Is that not a road? Is that not a ride from Busch
Oh,
Gardens?
no. Have you not seen Get Out?
I actually haven't,
bruh.
no.
Go watch Get Out.
I know.
No, it's from Get Out. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, and then, so she flies him all over the galaxy, and we actually have a song right now, and Drop the Girl, entitled Jordan Peele Presents Get Out. It's a working
Really?
title.
Huh.
I'll send it to you later. It's a banger.
On the topic of working titles, do you know what the working title of Glengarry Glen Ross was?
I'm sure at one point I did.
You don't know?
No.
It's Death of a fucking Salesman.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I learned that
That's
today.
awesome.
Ethan and I are salesmen in our other lives, and that's a great movie
it
to
is.
watch if you need a good film
Yeah,
recommendation.
she flies him all around the universe and the multiverse and everything, and he's like just wigging out the whole time. And she pulls him out of it and goes, "Have you seen that in a gift shop?"
Yeah, she's like, she's giving him the business.
just
You know, she's not letting him.
Hilarious. And they just throw him out.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not going to teach him.
There's
Well, because he even is like, I think, he frustrates me. He's like, what's in that tea? Is it LSD?
he's so arrogant.
Yeah.
So he thinks he knows everything, and he doesn't.
You got to think, this is a guy who's never been in a room with somebody that's not as smart as he is.
What?
No.
Opposite
He's never been
of
in a
that.
room with somebody that's as smart as he is. It's like when House is like, hey, Cameron and what's the black guy's name?
I don't know.
What's Cal Penn's name?
I don't remember that either.
Crap. Cameron and Chase in
13.
13. I'm sure they're all in the scene at the same time. What's the diagnosis? Nope, you're all wrong. You're all idiots all the time.
It's not lupus.
You know, it's not lupus. Yeah, and it's not cancer because there's an oncologist across the hall, and he has not appeared yet in this episode.
No, not at all. But so he spends the whole day on the doorstep, and they finally agree to let him back in because Mordo is just like, we could use somebody like this around, you know, who's smart like this. And she's like, oh, fine. And then they open the door, and he just falls back and goes, thank you.
Yeah, and then they just show him his quarters. And have you changed your home Wi-Fi password to the one in this movie yet? No, me
It's
neither.
not gonna happen either. I don't remember what it was. Sambala or something.
I have also. Is this my? What does he say? Is this my
Is this
chakra?
my chakra? He goes, no, it's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Which is
They're not
hysterical.
savages. Yes. Do you think? I mean, like, do they have towers in Kathmandu?
Yeah, it's a giant city.
Internet? I guess you're right.
In World War Z, it's the world's most populated city.
I've not seen that either.
Not
I don't
the
think I'm
movie, the
missing
book.
anything on that. Oh.
The book,
Brad Pitt was in that movie.
it was. I haven't seen the movie, but the book was phenomenal. Top
worth
3
my time?
audiobooks I've ever read.
Would you recommend it at audibletrial.com/eggs?
I would absolutely recommend it. audibletrial.com/eggs. Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, is in it.
What?
Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill does a voice.
He reads it?
No, it's a full cast.
Oh, it's
yeah,
full
because
cast.
they're told in vignettes, so it's like little
Vignettes.
little
huh?
stories from telling the whole story of the zombie apocalypse, and each character is a different person. It's a fantastic book. You should listen to it.
I'm dying. And rubbing my eye, which is not good. Okay. Where are we in the movie?
The sunken place. They give him the Wi-Fi password, and we find out they really are using magic. And he's like,
Yes, they are real-life
I don't know how to
sorcerers.
use magic. And she's like, well, how'd you learn to be a doctor? And he goes, study and practice for years. And she goes, well, there you go, buddy.
There you go. And then they do this thing where they show his beard growing, and it's supposed to be like, oh, this is a passage of time thing. But that, like, I got a buddy who just shaved his beautiful long beard, and then he was like, I shaved it 2 days ago. This is what it looks like now. And it is like 3 times the length of my beard that I've been working on for a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I shave my beard, it'll be back in 4 days.
Right. So all I'm saying is like the speed at which your beard grows is a terrible indicator.
Yeah, but he's got a really beard.
You think so?
Yeah, like that
it's
dude.
Not real. You know it's not real, right?
I don't know about that.
You think he's actually growing that beard?
Possibly. Yeah, I think that's what it would really look like if Budapest Cupboard Latch tried to grow a beard. Yeah, because he seems like the kind of guy that can't grow facial hair. Like, I'm pretty sure they did the same thing in an episode of Sherlock where he had, like, a really bad beard. It's like, there's no way that this is, like, a coincidence. Like, I feel like it would take that dude a long time. Similar to how long it took you to grow your goatee for him to grow that beard.
He also has a goatee. I'm going for the strange
look, not the Stark look?
They have very similar facial hairs.
Yeah, well, like, early Tony Stark is, like, a lot crazier.
He looks like he lives in the capital.
Yeah, I was going to say, he looks like Seneca Crane.
I'll tell you what they need is, I need we've got Captain America with a beard, I think, at this point.
No.
Right? Not in Black Panther?
I don't think he's in Black Panther, but also neither of those movies have come out yet.
He definitely is in Black Panther.
Is he?
I mean, like, he is going to make at least a cameo.
Well, yeah, but, like, maybe. I don't know if he's going to have the beard or not, but he has the beard in the Infinity War trailer. That movie doesn't come out till May.
That's what I was talking about. I need a Tony Stark with a full beard. It's not going to
happen.
I know it's not going to happen because Tony cares more about his beard than he does.
Right, you're going to have to you're going to have to push him really far off the rails.
We did that in Iron Man 3, and I don't think he's going to get another solo film. Could be wrong.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'd sure don't.
You know, if I was to just quick prediction, I would say that they give each character a trilogy of their own. But Thor, who had arguably the worst trilogy, I think will be the most likely to get another trilogy.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably going to get a fourth and fifth.
Yeah, for sure.
At least a fourth. I'm pretty sure that they've already started it.
I don't think they've started it, but I think he came out and was like, I want to continue to be Thor.
Well, I know they signed Taika Waititi on to do more than one movie. Like, he's contracted to Marvel to do more than one movie, which is good.
I mean, imagine if Favreau did I don't know who actually is doing Infinity War, and I should. Imagine, like, Favreau does Infinity War, and then, like, Taika Waititi does Infinity War Part 2. How clustered that would be.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing Infinity War. Who did... Because Joss Whedon didn't do Age of Ultron.
I don't know.
I think he wrote it. I don't know.
Joss Whedon directed it. Yeah. Infinity War. Top build cast for Infinity War. Karen Gillan.
I guess she did just have a movie come out.
No, it's sorted by IMDb star meter, so that's why I would imagine she is that much higher.
Why? Because she just had a movie come out?
Yeah. A movie that just beats Star Wars, not an opening weekend, but in a weekend.
Yeah. It was really good.
I'm really excited to see it. I'm waiting for my movie pass to be in. Anthony Russo, the Russo brothers.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Anthony and Joel Russo. They did. What did they do? They did Winter Soldier, I think.
They did Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah. I remember because I remember writing their names for one of the descriptions.
And they are doing another Avengers movie that is still untitled after Infinity War, which we are all calling Part 2, but technically does not have a title yet.
The poster says Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
Well, it could be something else.
I mean, it could be, but currently the title, according to Marvel, is Infinity War Part 2. Anyway, so this is the scene where he goes to the library, and I love this scene because I love the librarian who doesn't laugh.
Do you know why Karen Gillan is at the top based on
Star
Star
Meter?
Meter?
About this?
I'm sorry, I just clicked on her name. Do you know what rank Karen Gillan is on the Star Meter? 1.
Number 1?
She is the number 1 star.
Right now on IMDb?
Yep.
She is hot.
Yeah, she's pretty cute.
I mean, it's just like, it was watch Jumanji, you'll understand. Like, they over sexualize her character, but like in a non-sexual way. It's strange, but it works for her.
Mr. Doctor?
Anyway, so we get this scene with the librarian, and I love this because the librarian's amazing, the guy who doesn't laugh. Because he's just this like brick wall of a person, and
you're talking about Benedict
yeah,
Wong?
and he makes the crack on Stephen Strange where he's like, people used to think I was funny, and the guy goes, "Did they work for you?"
What a brutal line, dude!
Because he's sitting there.
Let's take you from here and knock you down a couple.
Right, because he's sitting there calling him all kinds of like one person names like Adele or Aristotle or Drake or Bono or Eminem, and then he's like, "Come on, you got to know Beyonce. She's a huge star." And then the next scene, he's listening to Beyonce.
I think the joke there, maybe a deleted scene or something, but it like hands him an iPod or something that's got Beyonce. Because then that's also while he's stealing all the books. I don't know. Maybe it's just implied. I was under the impression that like if you've never heard of Beyonce, you will now. I
was under the impression he definitely heard of Beyonce, but just didn't think Steven was funny.
Oh, maybe that was it. I don't know.
Because they're not savages. They have Wi-Fi. Like he's obviously heard of Beyonce.
True. I mean, not obvious.
I mean, it's pretty hard to not hear of Beyonce.
I remember Beyonce did some performance when I was a young man, and my dad made the comment that she was very pretty, and he was right. And then I think I forgot not who Beyonce was until I heard If I Were a Boy when I was like a senior in high school. There was like a 5 or 6 year gap where I didn't know what Beyonce was. And then I like, believe it or not, for probably the first 2 years of college, Beyonce wasn't a big deal to me. Like, it wasn't like something I was familiar with being a big deal. And then it was like, now it's like Beyonce is God.
Yeah. I don't like Beyonce.
No, I'm not a huge fan of her music.
That's a whole different conversation for a whole different podcast.
Yeah. But anyway, that was just my history of Beyonce.
So we get a cut to them trying to summon a big demon thing, I guess is what it looked like they were doing. But they didn't actually end up summoning it. They were just doing something. They made their eyes weird. I think that was the only result of that scene.
They were drawing power from the dark dimension.
They made their eyes weird and gave themselves face tattoos.
I'll tell you, Ethan, when are you getting a face
Never.
tattoo?
Not in a cold hell.
What did I say?
You've already ruined your body.
You've already ruined your...
No, not in a... I don't even have a single tattoo that can't be covered up by short sleeves. But no, I'm not getting a face tattoo ever, or hand tattoos.
Do Linda and Russell listen to the pod?
I don't know. I don't think they know how, but they will eventually.
That's one thing that flabbergasts me.
What?
It's like, if you use your iPhone...
They don't have iPhones.
Okay, well, that's a little
They
bit
have
more
flip
understandable
phones.
then. They have iPads.
Mom has an iPad. She does not have an Apple ID. I don't know either. I don't understand it. Don't understand it.
I don't know what my Apple ID does. I'll be 100% honest. I don't know what it does, but I know I have one, and I know I have to be logged into it on all of my devices.
Yeah, so we see at this point Steven is trying to do forbidden spells. He like is transforming this apple back and forth from like Eaton to Hull.
Yeah.
And
you could really solve some hunger crises with this.
No, because this is just him running time back and forth.
Yeah, but do you think his stomach was less full after he de-timed the apple?
I don't know, but you still have the limited amount of apples.
Well, yeah, but you could just hand the apple to one person, have them eat it, and then like untime the apple and hand it to the next person.
But that would take a lot of time.
Time is
whatever.
Did you misread Einstein?
Jesus Christ. Said you want to be an ancient king. I'll include a link to Jerusalem by Dan Byrne in this episode description. It's one of the greatest songs of all time.
I said, oh yes, very much.
And then he like somehow remakes the pages that summon Dormammu. I don't really know how that works, but okay. I guess he just runs time back again. Never mind. I understand now.
Yeah,
I don't know. It
do you mean you
didn't
don't
make sense
understand?
to me at first.
And then he does something where he like shoots part of the mirror dimension into the normal dimension right at the end there. I didn't really know what was going on, but
Just
it
some
was
dark
like,
magic.
Yeah, it's just some darko dangerous stuff.
Not cool stuff. Not nice. Bad stuff.
I can't believe he's even interested in these kinds of spells, because isn't he at this point still so selfish that he just wants his hands to work?
Yeah, but I think he's just curious at this point.
He does want to know.
And like his hands haven't started working yet, so I think he thinks there's still stuff to learn. And he doesn't like being told that he can't learn stuff.
Well, they do make the point to tell him that all knowledge is available. And you can learn whatever you want, but you can't take.
Well, but then they get mad at him for learning it. They said it's too advanced for him
because he hasn't read the warnings.
Right, because they come after the spells.
You know, the warnings. That was one of those like James Bond moments where it's like, this is where you say some cheesy one-liner.
Yeah,
the same way that kind of movie, bro.
Yeah. But it was that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But so long story short, I don't really remember exactly what happens here, but the London Sanctum gets destroyed.
Yep.
They open the door and like Caecilius is just sitting there destroying the Sanctum, and Stephen Strange ends up in the New York Sanctum, which is 177A Bleecker Street.
Have we talked about this before?
Talked about what?
That there is, I'm certain we did. There was an address in one of these movies that was like a little cheeky.
It was
with
this
the
one.
Sherlock
We did
thing.
it during the Thor Ragnarok thing.
Oh.
Because it's in Thor Ragnarok.
I knew we had talked
because it's where Stephen Strange, because it's a little bit too close to 221B Baker Street.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's a thing from back in the comics, and it just happened to be a thing. I don't know.
But it felt a little
heavy-handed because it's the same actor. But it could be a thing they wrote in the comics, and it's just like, oh, they took that inspiration from Sherlock Holmes back in the day, and they just happened to get Sherlock Holmes to do it.
They didn't give any of the other ones addresses, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it didn't need an address. You're correct. And the address card was a little Sherlock Holmesy, but I think they're playing into that. Whatever. It felt a little cheap.
Why not make the little nod?
But basically, they have this whole big fight, and you know, we already talked about what happens here, and Stephen Strange can't fight, but he can, and then he can't, and then he can, and he can sort of summon a weapon. But the important thing out of this is he gets the cape. Get cape, wear cape, fly.
The cape, I feel like had an opportunity to be a little bit of a comic relief, an unspoken comic relief, and it does do that.
Yeah, a little bit. When it's like trying to hug his face.
Right, and when it's like it grabs the guy and it's like shaking him up and down and stuff, like it's. But I felt like I don't remember, but I think seeing this in a theater, like a crowded theater, I would have laughed a lot more at what the cape does. But sitting alone in my house watching it, I was like, okay.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
It's It's his
I
relic.
get it. I mean, yeah, it's one of his relics. The Eye of Agamotto is his other relic.
Well, he doesn't quite get that one yet.
I mean, he wears it for most of the movie.
I wouldn't say most. No, would not say most. I would say like maybe half an hour.
Okay,
But yeah, so he gets stabbed after because Caecilius and him fight. Caecilius is like, hey, you should come over to the dark side because I'm a Sith. And, we grant eternal life over here.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, he's like, nah.
Not because I think he knows that Caecilius is a bad idea, but, like, he definitely has questions after this.
Right, because there's, like, magics that are...
After he does this whole, like, out-of-body fight with the random henchman, and the Sorcerer Supreme comes and, like, saves him and everything, because they get themselves into the mirror dimension, and that was a bad idea.
Correct.
Because the mirror dimension gives power to the people who feed off the dark dimension or something like that. But he has questions for her at that point.
Yeah, he's a little
just
shook.
like, hey, Grandmaster, whatever your name is, Ancient One. How is it that you can live forever, huh? Where's that technology for us, boyo? What you doing?
Cuzzo.
And she's just like, well, I totally don't do this. And Mordo's like, yeah, duh, bro. She doesn't use the dark energy. Nobody would do that. And she's sitting there like,
yeah, Mordo.
Like, shit, I totally use the dark energy. Mordo's gonna find out about this. He's gonna be really upset. This is not good.
He will never understand.
But yeah, no, this is where everybody goes into the mirror dimension. Sorry, I messed that up. I messed up the timing on that one a little bit. Because then she saves him, she saves both of them, but she gets stabbed and dropped. And it ends,
she gets stabbed.
Ends her life.
There's a big, beautiful Inception scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Big time. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was there.
Foghorn noise. Just drop a foghorn noise in here in post.
But like, yeah, big old Inception scene where they're fighting in the mirror dimension, and the dark dimension makes them more powerful in the mirror dimension,
right?
Because plot devices, and then she falls through a hole,
right?
And
so she separates herself from her body to give Steven one last lesson. She's like, I've spent my whole life peering into time, and I can never move past this moment. Like, yeah, no ish, because you're about to die, bro.
Well, that moment kept happening. Like, I know lightning strikes quick, but lightning was still striking.
Yeah, there was just a helicopter floating in the air for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. I don't know what are they doing.
It was also like daytime when she fell, and then it was suddenly nighttime, and there was like a storm. But there was no storm beforehand.
Life happens pretty fast.
Life comes at you fast. But it felt like a really overdramatic like background, especially with the helicopter. I was sitting like, what is this helicopter doing?
I thought the dramatic background was very cool. I was almost like, you know what? If somebody could find a way to make that my computer background, I'd be okay with that. That'd be a cool little.
I see. I didn't like it. I didn't buy into it. It felt out of place. But yeah, so she tells him basically everything about how like Pangborn took the selfish path, and that's how he uses the magic to walk, and Steven could do that with his hands, but you shouldn't. You should be the sorcerer. She tells him this here. Still not sure how you missed it, but that's okay.
Oh, no, I got that. I just thought he could do both.
But he doesn't. That's the thing, is at the end of the movie, his hands still shake because he doesn't need his hands.
Well, yeah, because he learns from the guy that doesn't have a hand. He's like, what's up?
Right, like it's irrelevant to him at that point. He spent the whole time obsessing about his hands, and then like when he finally gets enlightenment, he's like, oh, well, I don't need my hands. Like, why would I waste power making my hands work?
Right. What am I doing? I mean, I guess there's no like limit to the power he has.
I guess, but it seemed like it would take like not necessarily focus or whatever. It seemed like it would take his power because it seemed like they offered Pangborn one or the other. Basically, was the option he took. You can either walk again or you can have like power.
I mean, if you couldn't walk, what would you do, Ethan?
I have no idea. I can walk. I can't put myself in that position.
I mean, you can put yourself in that position, but it will require like a sledgehammer to the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit my spine with a hammer. That's not going to happen. But anyway,
I wouldn't recommend.
So Steven decides to not take the selfish path. He decides he's going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme or whatever. I don't think he knows that at that point, but he's going to be a sorcerer. He's going to go after Dormammu. And they go to fight in Hong Kong. But by the time they get there, everything's already done. Like the Dormammu has been summoned to Hong Kong. The septum has ended. But wait, Steven's got the little eye thing, and he can just like and just like run time backwards. And this is a really cool fight scene because they like pull themselves out of time, and like time is happening around them while they're fighting. I liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was cool looking. Okay, Caecilius, I would grant, can just pull himself out of the Eye of Agamotto problem thing. I'll give him that one. His henchmen, I say nay. Yeah,
no, I feel that.
They're just henchmen.
Right, they're not like super sorcerers.
I mean, they clearly are because they can
But they shouldn't
do
be.
this.
Like, I agree with that. Because, like, Wong can't pull himself out of it.
That's right. And Wong is the defender of the library, arguably the most important job. Although, granted, the last library defender wasn't very good at his job. He got his
Well, I
head
mean,
cut
343
off.
Guilty Spark was really good at his job.
He was really good at his job, but kill him at the end of Halo 2?
3.
3?
2. 1.
1, you kill Brutes.
I don't know. Because
3,
it's
you
a
kill
different
343 Spark.
monitor at the end of 3. It's like Penitent Justice.
Yeah, but it changes its name. It's still 343 Guilty Spark.
it's not.
I'll be honest. That was at a time in my life where I skipped cutscenes.
It's a different monitor. This is not relevant to this at all. Anyway, they're running time back, and Caecilius decides to stop the spell because I don't know why he didn't just do that from beginning. But then Steven realizes he's just got to go straight to the source, and so we get the whole Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
What do you think of
He's
Dormammu?
gigantic, and he kind of looks like Thanos, but like wavier.
He's very wavy. He looks like Andros.
Who is Andros?
He's the main villain from Star Fox 64.
Neat zero, burrito zero.
You're welcome, Rito.
But he does the time reversal thing to Dormammu. So we hear Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. I counted 14 times.
I didn't even count.
I counted 14 times that he goes back in time. Like between the times he dies and the times he says it, I counted 14, which seems like a low number.
I think we're led to believe that it happened a lot
in Groundhog
more
Day.
Right, for like ever. You think Steven remembers dying? Here's what I don't get. Maybe you can explain it. Maybe you can't. Does he run the spell before he does the Dormammu thing?
Yeah.
And that's why
it's
happening?
like a pre-programmed loop.
See, this is one of those, you know what, we'll just write ourselves out of a corner kind of problems.
Well, they wrote themselves out of a corner they wrote themselves into.
Correct, where Dormammu already landed.
But I kind of like the concept that they didn't just beat the big villain. They just negotiated with him.
Yeah, Dormammu, the not the world eater, that's Galactus, but
the world destroyer.
Right, the dimensional destroyer or whatever. The man from No Time.
Right. He's just like, okay, well, I'm going to leave Earth alone then. Fine.
Yeah, if you're going to be like this.
I guess he realizes that he's stuck there forever, so.
Right, and he wants to go eat more worlds instead of just continuing to kill the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right. So he destroys Caecilius.
And then
Wong, Caecilius is dead, and then Wong finally laughs.
Wong does laugh. He's like, ah. Yeah. He almost laughs. He reminds me. You know who Wong reminds me of? I bet you know what's gonna happen.
What?
Wong reminds me a lot of Drax.
Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah.
No, but like Wong gets jokes. Like he makes jokes.
So did
Drax doesn't make jokes. Drax doesn't get jokes.
You're right. Well, you're gonna find out here in a few weeks that Drax's character just
has no rules.
His whole
That's dumb.
Yeah.
But like they destroy Caecilius. Dormammu's gone. But all Mordo can talk about is the consequences.
He's like, why have you done this? You disobeyed the natural law.
So upset.
Okay, but so did the Ancient One.
And it makes no sense. Dumb motivation for a villain if he becomes a villain.
He will absolutely 100% become a villain.
Okay. Well, if they do more Doctor Strange movies.
I hope they do. I'm not done with the character. And his only reappearance so far, I'm a huge fan of. So I'm hoping that we get to keep Doctor Strange.
Right. For sure. I'm with it. And then that's the end of the movie. Oh, no. We see that they tell him that the eye is an Infinity Stone.
Yeah. Sneak that little, by the way, this is an MCU movie thing in there.
This is an Infinity Stone. We talked about the Avengers once, and now we're going to talk about Infinity Stones.
Yep. A boom. A baboosh.
So yeah, they talk about the Infinity Stone, and his hands still shake because he gave up on being a surgeon.
Here it is real quick. I get that, like, oh, we are the sorcerers. We defend from dimensional threats. That's nice and all. That's great. That's great. I hear ya. Sokovia was lifted off the ground and was gonna fall and destroy the planet.
Yeah.
You could have helped.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Ancient
definitely
One.
could have helped.
Oh, Wong. You know what really would have worked? If you stood below that big old hole in Manhattan and just sling ringed those dudes to Mars.
Anywhere else.
Anywhere not Manhattan.
Yeah. And this brings us back to this point, is that, like, Stephen Strange is unbeatable. He can do whatever he wants.
You can teleport and you can control
He can just
time.
continuously, he can stick Thanos in a loop.
Right.
So the Thanos is just sitting there going, guess I gotta do it myself, and grab the Infinity Gauntlet over and over again for all of time.
Thanos, I've come to bargain.
So we got...
He's invincible. He's unbeatable. But he's not unbeatable. He is absolutely mortal if you shoot him while he's not.
Right. He's also got an ego. He has weakness.
Unlike Superman.
Right. So then we got a post-credit scene, which is the scene from Thor Ragnarok, but a little bit different.
I can't believe you caught that it was a little bit different. I also have only seen...
I've seen it 3 times, but it absolutely caught that it was different.
I've only seen Ragnarok once.
Just because, like, his lines that he said were so distinct that I remembered them, especially because of the way he talks. And
I wish that... I don't, like... Do you think Doctor Strange would have been ruined with an English accent?
No.
Or do you think that, like, yeah, that's fine?
Yeah, no, I
He's
think that
British.
would have been fine. They talked about being a London sanctum. They could have easily destroyed the London sanctum instead of the New York, or they destroyed the New York sanctum instead of the London sanctum.
Right. Could have been done, wasn't done.
Could have been done. And then we get a second post-credit scene where we see that Mordo has come to take Jonathan Pangborn's power back, and he has officially lost his mind.
Yeah, that dude's gonna go straight up
Off the
nutso.
rails. Completely off the rails.
Yeah, siding with Thanos, I think.
Probably, if he's in that movie.
If not, I'm excited for the next Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Although, I mean, what if they were like, oh, Doctor Strange gets killed by Thanos, that's how Thanos gets the time
Yeah, Doctor
stone.
Strange is dead within
then-
5 minutes.
Right. Oh, man.
He and Vision just laying on the ground.
Right. Wow, crap.
I guess it's up to Captain America and his shield somehow again.
Right. Yeah, and his gun.
Yeah, it'll just at the end of the day, it's gonna be Spider-Man and Ant-Man, like giant Ant-Man just beating the crap out of Thanos.
I don't think Giant Ant-Man whatever. I don't know. I don't like the Giant Ant-Man trope, I'll say it. But
Why?
I don't know. I just think it's silly.
Okay, it's a superhero movie. It's all silly, bro.
Bunch of men in tights running around fighting over geopolitical problems. I don't know. This whole thing.
Yeah, screw it.
I don't know if I buy in. Where are we?
At the end of the movie. Oh, hang on 1 second. Oh,
so,
God, stretching.
It's a big one?
No, I'm just stretching. I feel like I was reborn. Yeah, it was great.
New body?
New year, new me. New stretch,
Nathan?
new me. Doctor Strange, what... I know we've gone over it, obviously, but what did you like about it and what didn't you like about it?
I'll tell you what I liked about it.
All right, tell me what you liked about it. I just asked you that.
I think it's a good, easy story, which I like. It doesn't get hung up on the romance, which I
was
like.
very glad for that. Sorry, I said that when I was yawning. Yeah, I was
no,
really
no,
glad
no,
that it
no.
didn't get hung up on the romance, that it wasn't just like, oh, but Christine.
Right. And she's not really, like, she's in it, but she's not.
They don't need
but
her for the
she
next
is.
movie.
Right, but she can
It'd be cool if she came back,
She
but they
doesn't
do
have
not
to be.
need her.
And then I liked the post-credit scenes. I thought they were both good. I thought it was acted really well. I thought it was cast really well. I thought
Solid flick.
I liked the Dormammu thing. Yeah, I mean, it really is a solid flick. Like as far as the ship itself, the vessel is nice.
Yeah.
What I don't like are kind of the holes you can poke in it. Like, he learns too fast.
Whatever. He's the best. Like, he learns fast. He's got a photographic memory. I can look past that pretty easily.
They didn't commit to it being funny or not being funny. So you kind of have this weird hybrid throughout where there's some jokes but not a lot. Is it funny? Like, I don't think if they took the comic relief out, there isn't like a dedicated comic relief character, but I don't think that if they took it out, it would have like been too serious and unwatchable.
No. And I don't think if they added a little more, it would have been remiss.
Right. I don't think it would have been like, well, there's just no stakes in this movie. Like,
you could have probably added a little bit more relief.
Right. So I will complain about that. I don't like the way the costumes clash with like normal everyday life people. I probably would have just had them not end up in normal everyday life pretty much at all.
Well, they really don't, except in the hospital.
Well, and she like falls out of the sky, and in the beginning she's walking through stuff. And I mean, there's not a lot. You're right. You're absolutely
because most
right.
of the time they're in real, or like outside, they're in the mirror dimension, so doesn't matter.
Right. I liked the mirror dimension thing. I loved what they did with all the visual imagery.
Yeah.
I thought it might.
Cinematography in this movie was A+.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Like, it was shot really well.
I thought it was a little bit much at times, but like it got the point across. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is like a superhero flick about the greatest sorcerer of all time. So, I mean, what do you expect? I think that's kind of X-Men's downfall in some of its movies, is that like it doesn't go over the top enough. That's why those two scenes of Quicksilver are so famous, because they just went above and beyond expectations.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No. Still never seen these movies.
Right, but you've seen those scenes.
Not really.
Oh, I'll send them to you.
Okay.
Worth watching. I mean, it was missing something.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't know what it was missing, though.
Maybe it was that, like, I don't really understand Caecilius' motivation, but it's an origin story, so, like, the villain is just kind of there to, like, villain.
Wait, what do you not understand him as motivation?
He wants, like, eternal life, and he wants Dormammu, and he disagrees with the teachings of the Ancient One, but, like, why destroy Earth? I guess because he's misled by what Dormammu's gonna do?
Yeah, he's just like been misled. He's
a zealot.
Darth Vader. Yeah.
He's a zealot. Okay, I'll jive with that. I don't know, but I just
he's a fallen Jedi.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely.
Like,
if I could put my finger on what it's missing, I think they would have, and it would have been
right.
that much
And
better.
but it did feel like it was missing something. I would agree with that.
I loved
I would definitely agree with that. And maybe it just feels like it was so disconnected from the Marvel series, just because there were no. At this point, you're used to having like another Avenger in there somewhere.
I feel like they were like, you know what, Benadryl Snickers bar. can probably carry the movie on his own. He doesn't need somebody else. And I feel like that's almost an insult to Tom Holland and to Paul Rudd. Who, I mean, Tom Holland was given, like, you're going to be introduced in a Captain America movie by Iron Man, and then Iron Man is going to be, like, on the cover of your movie, which I think was an insult.
Right.
Because Spider-Man...
Iron Man's not on the cover of Spider-Man Homecoming.
He's not? There were posters. I don't know if it's the cover. I own it somewhere. In fact...
Well, the DVD cover is him laying on the ground in a yellow jacket.
Okay, but you're familiar with
Spider-Man
the one where
costume.
he's, like, flying... He's, like, web-slinging through the air, and Iron Man...
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot about that one.
So...
Listen, but at the end of the day, Burger King Johnny Cash did just fine on his own.
He did do just fine on his own. The movie holds up.
That's not the issues that I've got with it. It felt like it was missing an Avenger.
I agree. I think, like, Thor could have shown up. There's a lot of talk of, like, realms and dimensions and stuff.
Yeah, Thor could have definitely, or they could have, like, accidentally, like, zapped to Asgard
For, like, a moment.
or wherever he was at this point. Yeah, and Thor just been like, what?
Right.
But that would have played badly into the next Thor movie where he didn't know who Stephen Strange was. But there's a lot of potential for, especially them being in New York, and they showed Stark Tower.
Right.
Like there was a lot of opportunity for them to bring in another Avenger. And I know we're sounding really fan servicey here right now and being like, you can't just give us one established Avenger and Doctor Strange. You guys are assholes.
Right, but I would have taken even like a new Avenger cameo, like throw maybe not Spider-Man, but like bump into Tom Holland on the street, or like Wakanda's got something to say about this, or Ant-Man is somewhere doing something, like even like a news report in the background. Maybe that would have been too little, but like a news report in the background that like Pimtech has just imploded or something.
Pimtech.
Or I guess Cross Industries. But
I mean, I think it did implode.
I know.
Oh, okay. You're saying like do a news report about that.
Right. Have him like watching
Gotcha,
TV. Okay. There was an opportunity for somebody to be in there.
Right. Yeah,
in some capacity.
Well, I mean, that would have been as much as them talking about Rhodey.
Yeah, maybe I wanted more than that. I wanted...
for sure. That's what, anyway, we're running a little bit short on time here. So let's what do we think about, are we ranking it on Dormammu or on Caecilius?
I mean, we've done these before where there's kind of like a dual villain, like the U.S. government and Abomination kind of thing. And I think you just go, you jumble them together, right? Because Dormammu gives Caecilius his power-ish.
Right. Right. So where would you put these guys?
I would put them above average. You know, like a 6.5.
On a scale of Tommy Lee Jones to, what was it, Heath Ledger?
Yeah. I would give him like 6.5, like Danny DeVito Penguin or something. I don't know. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Is he better than Sebulba?
No.
No one's better than Sebulba.
Greatest villain of all time. So yeah, that's where I would put. I mean, he's above average. I guess we just talked about. He's got clear motivations. No real like major flaw. He's a little weak in battle against Stephen Strange, who doesn't know what he's doing. But he was shot by Chewbacca.
Again, Stephen Strange is unbeatable.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, so I'd say above average, like maybe like a 6 or a 7. Definitely not like a Loki.
Yeah.
But also definitely not like another cheap Xandarian knockoff.
Another cheap American. Oh man, I
guess the shirt could just say that
another
too.
Cheap American knockoff. Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs. Another cheap American podcast.
Oh, that's what it should say. Ladies and gentlemen, get your bacon and eggs. Another cheap American
podcast.
T-shirts. They are made of a premium material and are not a cheap American knockoff. But we really wanted to make sure that if you're gonna wear our name, that it looks good. That might be what happens.
This shirt looks Chinese, sounds Chinese, is Honduran. Anyway,
the problem is another cheap American podcast would be a great name for a podcast.
Well, let's just go ahead and register that domain as well. Okay, so where have I got my? I've got them somewhere. My list of movies.
I don't know.
A list of cinema.
Before you look at the list, do you think it will be in the top 50% or the bottom 50%? Without looking at the list, just... You can't think this much. You can't think this much.
I don't even know where 50% puts it. Probably top 50.
I think so as well, but I don't. But I realistically don't think it'll make it. Let's find out.
Let's run them down again. Okay. So we've got Iron Man. What was it? Captain America: Civil War, correct? Number 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, we didn't put it up that high? Yeah, we did.
Oh, I don't remember.
I swear to God, Civil War was number 2.
Yeah, Civil War is number 2.
Yeah, okay. We got Iron Man, Captain America: Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers: Age of Ultron, The Avengers, Captain America: The First Avenger, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Ant-Man, Iron Man 3, Thor, Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 2, and The Incredible Hulk.
All right, start me from the bottom. That's how I start you from the bottom?
Yeah,
Because I don't think, if we did mess up Captain America, I don't think it's going to Like, if we put it third instead of second, I don't think it's going to mess us up too much.
I'm pretty positive that it was second.
I have not edited it, so I'm not sure. Okay, so Ethan, is it better than The Incredible Hulk?
Yes.
Is it better than Iron Man 2?
Yes.
Is it better than Thor 2?
Yes.
Is it better than Thor?
Yes.
Is it better than Iron Man 3?
Yes.
Is it better than Ant-Man?
Yes.
Okay. Is it better than Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
I would say yeah.
Really?
I enjoyed it more.
I think this is about as high as I can let you go then. Is it better than Captain America 1?
That's the thing is, I don't know. I just feel like all these movies in Phase 3 so far, at least the ones I've seen, honestly, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy and we haven't ranked the other ones yet, but like, they're higher quality movies.
Oh, yeah. They've definitely, like if you watch Phase 1, you can like poke holes pretty easily in things that happen.
Right, like they're more complete movies.
Right. Why would nobody have heard of Nicholas Flamel? I just got to ask this real quick. I'm asking you a Harry Potter question. The man is immortal. He's in one book.
Oh yeah, because he's he dies at the end of that
Okay,
book.
but he was immortal.
Right, but like he'd been from what I gathered, he was laying low for a long time.
Yeah, that book of light reading didn't look particularly new. Neither do many of the books.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is he was famous in old books.
But he's only in one book. And the Chocolate Frog people have his information.
I don't know, but the Chocolate Frog didn't say he invented the Sorcerer's Stone.
No, but Hermione couldn't find his name in any book anywhere. But the Chocolate Frog people have it, and he's in that one light reading book.
Yeah, because Albus Dumbledore makes chocolate frogs.
What?
I'm pretty sure that Albus Dumbledore makes chocolate frogs.
I mean, it would make sense if he had a candy business on the side. I won't lie.
Right, like he's a candy guy, and like all of them are his friends.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that there's an answer.
But
you might. I was expecting you to be as frustrated with this question as I was.
I mean, I've definitely been frustrated with this question, but I guess I've rationalized it in my head over the years.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're back to the ranking.
So my heart wants to put it at number 6.
What do you want to put in the book?
Above First Avenger.
That would be 4. Or that would be 5. First Avenger is 5. No. It's 6.
No, First Avenger 6.
Yes.
Regardless of where we put Winter Soldier, because we're bad at our jobs, I can't remember.
Right. You don't think it's better than the Avengers? I agree with you that it's not better than the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than the Avengers.
Do you think it's better than everything but the Avengers, or up to the Avengers?
Yeah, I do. But I'm not sold on that. I think I'm sold on it being better than Winter Soldier, but I'm not necessarily sold on it being better than the first Avenger. And I know you have thoughts on this because you think Winter Soldier's better than the first Avenger, but you lost. True. But I mean, I'm willing to put it in between 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, just to like break that up a little bit.
Just like we do with Back to the Future Part 3. Is it better than Back to the Future Part 3?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked that movie.
I did too, but I think it was better than that. It was not better than Back to the Future 1.
Well, duh. Back to the Future 1 is the only movie we have reviewed that is in IMDb's top 250.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I think. Yeah, The Last Jedi is not. And neither is L or Polar Express.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Any of these. Can you believe that? Not even Iron Man. I would have thought Iron Man made it.
Hey, they don't like to reward movies like this.
Dark Knight is 5.
Yeah. That's not a movie like this. That is a study in dark cinema. That is a film noir superhero movie.
It's a good one.
No, Watchmen is a film noir superhero movie, but
yes,
that's a whole different thing. Okay, so where are we landing? Where are we putting it in the list, Morty?
Oh, jeez, Doc, this is heavy. Between 1 and 2. Between Captain America 1 and 2. Right there.
Oh, I thought you said between 1 and 2. Like
it's better than everything.
Like it's better than everything. Okay, so between Captain America 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about a breakfast food? Since you're so good at this.
Crap. I usually am able to just. It's
gotta be heavy.
Actually, it's Eggs Benedict.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sold. Fair enough.
It's a little bit confusing. I'm not really sure what it is. There's 2 people named Benedict in it.
It's a little bit foreign, but everybody in America loves it.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
I'm with it. Okay, Eggs Benedict. Got it. Done. Sold. Tie a yellow ribbon around it. All right, let's do an outro.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else to talk about. Last thoughts.
I have no final thoughts, but here's what I will say.
Mask off. Fuck it, mask off.
Here's what I will say. If you want to get in contact with Ethan and I, Ethan is at Wow Now on Instagram and Twitter. The O's are zeros. I am at Americarlin. It's America RLIN. Super easy to find us. But you can also tweet at us at Baconandeggs23, or if you're interested in our English ambassador program, that is English
we need an ambassador from the UK.
United Kingdom, Great Britain, whatever you want to call yourself. Shoot us an email, Dormammu, I've come to bargain in the subject line. We'd be happy to hook you up. And then I can't remember what we asked for in the body of the email.
You just have to tell us the name of the actor that played Dr. Strange.
Oh yeah, what's his name again? Anyway, shoot us that email and we will get you hooked up with the United Kingdom ambassador program. We already have ambassadors in Germany as well as Canada, and we are looking for an ambassador for the state of Vermont, but I don't think you're out there listening.
Nope. Sorry, Vermont. Our artwork is made by Vashaun Brandon. If you want to get in contact with him, get in contact with us first, and then we'll give you his info. Good friend of ours.
Hey guys, Future Ty here. I'm sneaking into this conversation and I'm just gonna take over and and fill in the blanks about the merch, because it is available, and we want you to
We're
get
gonna
it.
have merch soon.
Merch will
if not
almost
already.
definitely be available by the time this
It
comes
is.
out.
You have no idea.
I do.
Yeah.
I have no idea, or you, the listener, have
Yeah.
no idea.
No, you have no idea.
Why wouldn't the merch be available? It's supposed to be available by the end of the week.
Says
is.
who?
Our merch guy.
That was
did.
never
He
said.
said they should have some mock-ups ready by the end of the week.
Some
They
mock-
did.
Okay, so that's not guaranteeing that we're gonna have merch available for sales.
But we do.
We're working on the merch thing.
We're working
It
on
is
it.
available.
January 9th. January 22nd might be
Yeah.
a different world.
January 25th.
Whatever.
Who knows? We'll probably have merch, but we may not. If we don't have merch, then we'll figure
Merch
it
is
out.
coming.
We do.
soon.
Merch is coming soon. If there's merch below, great. As we said earlier in the episode, you can reach us at patreon.com/baconandeggs if you want to help us keep the lights on around here.
Yeah, it would really, really mean the world to us. This podcast is one of our greatest passions, and we would love for it to be a bigger. We would love to be able for it to be a bigger part of our lives, but for that we do need your help. Go to patreon.com/baconandeggs and do what you can. If not, we really do encourage you. It would actually help us out a lot if you are not a member of Audible to go to audiblechild.com/eggs and use our promo code.
Yeah, do that. Also, join our secret Facebook group.
Yeah, we just want to talk to you. We're interested in your faces, and we are absolutely not big enough that we can't respond to literally everything anybody ever says to us.
Right.
So
we're having a lot of great conversations in that group, getting some great ideas for the podcast in that group. So join now or forever hold your peace.
yes, please.
Or hold your peace if you want. I don't know. Just whatever you want to do with your peace. I don't really care. Not up to me. But think you got any last thoughts? Anything left?
I don't think so.
Well, on behalf of us over here at Bacon and Eggs Media and, everything else, I don't know where I was going with that. Damn it. I lost it. I lost my train of thought.
I don't know, buddy.
I don't know. Let's just all give a round of applause to Beelzebub comedic mismatch for this movie.
What?
What?
What are you talking about?
It's for making the movie. The actor.
Oh. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? Yep, that's all I got. Thanks for listening to another episode of Bacon and Eggs. And until next week, arrivederci.
Hasta la vista, baby. Yeah, but even the